Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and goodbye, Ami.
Yeah. Just take out Earth and put in Ami. Yeah, exactly.
Now we have to assemble the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
And wish Ami back to life.
Right. And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon crystal power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is brought to you by Catsicles. So cute, you won't want to eat them.
Too soon. It's a little too soon, but it's never too soon to thank our contributors to the show. And we'd like to thank one in particular this week.
Yes.
We have what's called a Kōhī account, which is at ko-fi.com. where listeners can come in and they can drop things in the tip jar.
Yes.
The idea behind it is that you're going to buy somebody coffee. So I think like the basic unit of donation is $3.
Sure.
You know, give them a latte, give them a coffee. But we received a lot of coffee, much more than just that, from listener Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
I don't want to do the L. Simpson, or no, it's to Lisa S. I don't want to dox anybody, but Sarah hopefully knows who she is, and we really appreciate her very generous donation to the show. It's those kind of donations, those kind of coffees that keep the show going. And if you know anything about me, I run on coffee.
I think we both do.
Yeah. Well, you more than you used to.
Yes.
Since we started working together.
Yeah.
But get that text around 10:30. Should I make some more coffee? Like, yeah. I think so. So thank you, Sarah. And listeners, if you want to contribute to Sailor Noob, you can by going to ko-fi.com. And we don't actually have like a page there.
No, we don't.
So I had to stop uncertainly this time.
Yes.
But you can search for us, Just Enough Trope online. Also, there's a link in our show notes.
Yes. Today we are talking about episode number 62. Senshi no Yujo, Sayonara Ami-chan in Japanese, A Guardian's Friendship, Goodbye Ami in the English translation, and the English title, Sailor Mercury Moving On?
Sayonara is not the only way to say goodbye in Japan.
No, and I want to talk about that.
Oh, hey. So, I mean, that's not, I'm kind of interrupting the show, so that's not really sticker worthy, I guess, but I did anticipate where it was going to go.
You did.
All right.
You did.
All right. Well, I'll shut up.
Well, no, you're fine. Would you like to...
I guess I'll talk.
Give... I didn't ask you to shut up. Would you like to give us a breakdown of this episode?
I will. Get ready for story.
Yeah.
And all that it brings. And that story begins on a Tokyo afternoon, where Chibi Usa is making her way home from school, accompanied by Luna P. At least somebody's with her. Although you've explained that that's kids just walk to school, and it doesn't matter how old they are.
I mean, yeah, a lot of the time.
The stoplights sing, so they're safe, right?
Okay.
They sing little songs. There's no way a 6-year-old is going to walk out into traffic.
Sometimes they sing songs. Sometimes they make pleasant little noises, so...
Oh, careful.
No, not like that.
Oh, wow. Well, you can do a pleasant noise for us, but, that's in the Patreon. So anyway, she suddenly spies something intriguing. She sees the soft cream Bob-Floy soft cream shop.
Yeah.
If you have no idea what's going on, that's okay.
Uh-huh.
It's an ice cream place.
Yeah.
Serving delicious soft serve ice cream. It's not a ploy. It's Bob-Floy. Everybody's loving it. They're eating ice cream. They're going to ruin their dinners. It's only 3:00.
Yeah.
Chibi even sees mint chocolate chip and she's tempted.
Uh-huh.
Does she have money? I don't know. Can she turn Luna P into money? And then once she gets the ice cream, Luna P turns back into Luna P and flies away? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Good questions.
That's the old D&D trick. You cast Summon Horse, you sell the horse for a little gold, and then you take off, and then the horse disappears.
Ah, clever.
I think Faust did that. Marlowe's Faust.
Oh, Okay.
I don't know. Look it up.
Is that where it comes from in D&D?
But I don't know. But she tells herself she's not a kid anymore. She can't be distracted by such things in her search for the silver crystal. Mm-hmm. Just then, drool streaming down her chest.
Yeah, right.
Just then, Ami arrives and says, "Whoa, it's that new ice cream place. Chibiusa, would you like to have some ice cream with me? It's my treat." And Chibiusa, she likes this idea.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the silver crystal's in the ice cream place. We don't know. So they go get ice cream. Meanwhile, at Hikawa Shrine, the girls and the cats have assembled for an important meeting. Ami is leaving. She's going to study abroad in Germany. She won't be around anymore. The girls are sad, but they agree that it was inevitable that someone as smart as her would be given this opportunity. Mm-hmm. Ami's dream is to become a doctor like her mother. Mm-hmm. And as Germany is one of the best places to study medicine, this is the next step.
Yes.
Usagi is distraught about this news. She doesn't want to lose her friend. Plus, she's the brains of the team.
Yeah.
The other girls tell her that she has to consider Ami's feelings. And Rei mentions that Ami has actually had to lose sleep on the days that they fight because of how hard she studies. This is what she wants to do. Mm-hmm. They can't hold her back. Luna tells Usagi, "Remember that you wanted everybody to have the life of a normal girl." Which is rich, because Luna is the one who gave her memories back in the first place. Anyway, the girls accept it and decide to throw Ami a going-away party.
Yes.
Across town, Ami...
Minako's idea.
Well, she's got to do something in this episode. Across town, Ami and Chibi are finishing their ice cream, and Ami is headed off to cram school. Mm-hmm. Chibiusa says, "Bye, Ami-chan," and then... The camera kind of focuses in, and she looks sinister. She says, "If someone has the silver crystal, maybe it's her instead of irresponsible Usagi."
Yes.
Back at Hikawa Shrine, it's merch time! Merchandising!
Yeah.
Merchandising!
No.
Artemis presents the girls with their new transformation wands and communications devices.
Yep.
Which are little wands bearing the girls' alchemical symbols that are perfect for a girl-sized hand. And watches that would look great on your the girls' wrists.
Yep.
I mean, I know this is how the game's played.
Yeah.
But at least it's not makeup anymore. Like, they went from, like, lipsticks and compacts, to these. These are practical things.
Were they ever... Well, I thought they were just, like, transformation wands. I didn't think they were, like, lipsticks.
But they call them pens.
Yeah.
But I just figured, like, in the live action, they, like, put lipstick on.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't know.
And nail polish, too, so...
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, look, I was complaining about it. They're literally breaking away from that.
Uh-huh.
Luna says that these will make them more powerful, but she doesn't elaborate on that. So we're just going to have to find that out later, I guess. Usagi points out that Ami won't be needing hers anymore, and it makes everybody a little sad. Cut to the Rainbow Room, where Rubeus is studying the hologram of Crystal Tokyo. He calls Berthier, and she emerges from her mirror. Do they live in these mirrors?
I don't know.
Or was she off doing something else?
I mean, she could have been off doing something else.
Trying to return her broken droid from the last episode.
Right.
No, I don't have a receipt. Oh, hold on. Comes out. Rubeus says another crystal point has been found, and if you thought it was Bob-Floy, you're paying a nominal amount of attention to this episode.
Yeah.
Berthier says, "We're trying to replace the crystal power in this place with dark power, right?" Yeah. Wait, do you know what your job is? I mean, she's the first one, so maybe this is not like...
Yeah, right.
like
right.
Jadeite wasn't that great. Rubeus says, "Yes, do it right. Not like last time."
Uh-huh.
And Berthier's like, "You got it." Takes off.
Yeah.
She's just uncomplicated. Just lives. She's got a little her parasol, lives her life.
Right. She like, I like how...
She doesn't sweat the small stuff.
No, she does not.
No.
She's just like... He's like, "Do better." She's like, "You got it, boss."
Outside of absolutely past cram school, Chibiusa is waiting for Ami to finish. Ami comes out and sees her and says, "Chibi, you shouldn't be out this late." And she's pretty smart. She's got a point. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Sakinos forgot that she existed again. I don't know where they are. We just cut to like Mr. Sakino drive. "I trusted you, Chibi. Where are you?"
Oh my god!
It's late at night. Chibi says, "I need a favor. Can I crash at your place for a while? Things are pretty hot with Usagi right now." She's like, yammer all the time. "I just need a place to study." Yeah. And Ami immediately believes this.
I
so
know.
Maybe she's not so smart. She says she'll get in touch with Usagi and let her know, and they walk off hand in hand. And as they do, the camera focuses in on the blood red eyes of Chibiusa. At Ami's place, it's around 10 p.m., and Chibi is just trying to hold together. She's really sleepy. She is a child.
I know.
Ami's like, what? It's only 10 p.m. Let's study for another hour. It's okay for little children to be up late if they're studying.
I know. It's like, whoa.
I don't like what I'm learning about Ami here.
I know.
Chibi is like, what's this girl's deal? Jeez. Ami asks Chibi, so where are you from? I know you're not Usagi's cousin. If you don't want to talk, that's okay. You know, I'm going to go away for school, and my mom will be lonely, so you can stay here if you like and keep her company. My dream will finally come true. Or maybe not. I can't leave Usagi and my friends. Anyway, forget what I just said.
I know. It's like this monologue, as if Chibiusa isn't there.
I sense the conflict within you.
Yeah.
We fade to a fantasy where Usagi is saying, come on, Ami, let's go. But Ami says, no, I must go away now. Farewell. And she's joined by Mamoru, who says, I don't love you anymore. And they both fade away with a sayonara. And we pull back. We see that this is Usagi's dream. Or should I say nightmare? This poor kid.
Yeah.
On the street, Berthier appears and infiltrates Bob-Floy with her droid Nipasu. Nipasu is a woman in a white robe. It's more complicated than that, but we'll get to it. And she blows her freezing breath all over Bob-Floy's. So now the ice cream is double cool. Berthier says, I call this one, I love a cool treat. Hey, we do the titles. Right? We do that part.
Right.
No commentary from the characters. The store is encased in ice, which will somehow help their plan, and they begin to make Bob-Floy's into a Bob-Ploy's.
What?
It's a ploy now.
It's a ploy now. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't. Their slogan is that they aren't a ploy. But that's not truth in advertising. On the way to school the next day, Usagi tells Ami, I bet it was a pain babysitting Chibiusa. But Ami says, no, she can stay anytime. And Chibiusa says, yay, I will. Shoo. I'll stay as long as it takes to get the silver crystal. We can't see her hands, so we don't know if her trigger finger is spasming involuntarily. Usagi tells Ami about the going away party. Let's hope that she was supposed to do that. Surprise! Maybe it was a surprise. I don't know. But Ami still isn't sure if she's going. She says that she's filed the paperwork and that there's 10 days left. Don't get attached to that number because it doesn't make any sense as far as the action of the episode goes. I don't know if it's a translation thing or what. But this all pretty much happens in 24 hours.
Yeah, it seems like
But she's still not sure about going. And Usagi, sensing that her friend needs her, even if it's to disagree, says, Ami, you're going to go to Germany and become an amazing doctor. We all believe in you. Cut to a parfait brunch with the girls, minus Ami. And Usagi says, I don't believe that Ami wants to go to Germany. She says, actually, Ami says, we see her in Usagi's mind in front of a gingham background.
I know.
Saying, I'm really indecisive. And if you guys throw me a party, I won't be able to go. Which is that's such an analytical Ami way to phrase it.
Right.
Like a computer statement, like if then. Like she means that she'll be emotional and she'll cry and it'll be hard for her to leave. But she paints it in like, well, if there's a party, then I can't go.
Right.
You know, it's like that detachment. Not so Ami. That's why it's gingham and not calico. Gingham is squares. It's ordered. Calico, it's just a chaotic mess.
Yeah, squares, math, somehow related to medical
she's drawing,
stuff.
Curves and asymptotic graphs on her gingham dress. Ami. Back at brunch, the girls are determined to do something, and Minako suggests that they see her off at the airport. So they all stand up and say, to the airport. Isn't there like 10 days left?
I know. It seems like they're going right then.
Or she was like, you're going to do it. 10 days go by. This parfait is delicious. Oh, guys, I don't think she wants to go. At the reopened Bob-Floy's, we see two lovebirds buy some ice cream. But as soon as they start eating it, they become angry with each other.
Yes.
And they part ways. They also say, oh, boy, oh, it's so hot.
Yeah.
Don't get attached to this. It's not going to matter at all.
No.
Nipasu is shouting, come get your ice cream, get your ice cream. And Berthier, in parasol form, walks up to her and says, cool it with the hard sell. Let them come to you. No, she says, once they taste my ice cream, they won't be able to stand the heat. And hot people want more ice cream. This will somehow give us control of this point.
I know.
Artemis is suspicious of Bob-Floy's, and he's sneaking around in the back room when Berthier and Nipasu hear him. Oh, look, it's a kitty cat. He pretends to be a regular cat.
Uh-huh.
But Berthier's not buying it, and she has Nipasu freeze him solid.
Yeah.
And he probably thinks, oh, not again.
I know.
And Berthier fires off a good night, kitty cat.
I know.
Which is a solid burn. Apply fire to melt the ice that you're applying to where you were burned.
Yes.
At Hikawa Shrine, the girls are all watching Rei pray before a fire. She's trying to find Artemis because he's missing. Maybe this is where the 10 days comes in or something. Maybe he's missing for a couple days.
Yeah, maybe.
She says that she can't find him, and Usagi starts to say that they should get Ami to use her computer to find him. But then she's like, oh, no, she can't do that.
Yeah.
So she thinks we should take care of this ourselves. At the Mizuno household, Ami is packing, and she has Chibiusa there. Mm-hmm. It's Ami's last day now today. So, once again, I don't know.
I don't know how time works in this
She's going to Germany.
Yeah.
And Chibi says, thanks for helping with my studies, and good luck. Shoo. Since I saw her pack all of her stuff, every single item, I know she doesn't have the silver crystal. Who has it?
I know, right?
We cut back to Bob-Floy's, and Minako is just staring at the place on one of those like walkways that goes over the road, you know?
Yeah. Right.
And Luna comes up and she says, well, it's almost time to see Ami off at the airport. Mm-hmm. Oh, was that the ice cream place that Artemis was suspicious of? And Minako's like, yeah. Is this a Minako solo jam?
Yeah, it kind of seems like
We'll find out in 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Nipasu is closing down the stand for the night, and okay, screw it. Make it like 90 seconds. Are these droids programmed for long-term labor? Like, if Berthier got busy with something else and she just left the droid there for weeks, would she increase profits? Would she start like making hiring decisions?
I don't know.
Would she open another location?
Well, I'm
just imagining this droid with her hands in a sink up to the elbows cleaning ice cream scoops like, nah, I was not built for this.
We don't really know that much about the droids just yet. I would imagine that like they're not programmed to make managerial type decisions.
They're programmed to be pushy at this point.
Yeah,
but a real pushy
and compliant,
a real pushy makeup salesman,
yeah,
and a somewhat pushy ice cream salesman.
Yes.
So I don't know when the vacuum cleaner salesman shows up.
Right,
but
who
Berthier
next episode is not like super nice to Nipasu. She's
she is and she isn't. And here's an example. Berthier shows up at closing time and she's like, hey, how's everything going? Are you taking care of the frozen people in the back room? She's a real micromanager.
Yeah.
Also, there's frozen people in the back room.
I know.
What part of the plot that is, I have no idea. Berthier says, if this job is too hard, I can put you out of your misery. Like,
yeah.
And the boss is like, whoa, no, it's fine. I got it. God, my boss is such a dick.
I know.
I had to open. Now I'm closing. I asked for help and backup. Nothing. I'm in the weeds here.
I know.
Berthier goes to the back room and she's confronted by Minako, who's just back there.
Yes.
And she's like, why do you have all these frozen people? A fair question. Nipasu says, well, I guess I'll have to kill you. Nipasu.
Yes.
And she freezes Luna solid.
Yeah.
Not again.
I know.
Thanks, Luna. Minako is not down for a Minako solo jam, so she calls the girls who are waiting at a bus stop. They head over to Bob-Floy, but first Usagi gives Ami's going-away present to Chibiusa, and Mamoru shows up out of nowhere.
I know.
To drive Chibiusa to the airport to see Ami off. Spoiler alert, Tuxedo Master does not appear in this episode.
Yeah.
Because he's at the airport.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because he drove a friend to the airport.
Good point.
Never drive a friend to the airport. Because it's the end of the episode, the girls immediately arrive in the back room of Bob-Floy, which is gigantic, by the way. It's like a multiple-story cold room.
Yeah.
It has like a circular
huge warehouse
shaft that the girls appear through. And maybe there's a skylight up there.
Yeah.
You want that in your freezer. And they stare Nipasu down. Skiri Kawate Oshiokyo.
Yes.
We cut to New International Tokyo Airport, now known as Narita.
Yes.
Which is in Chiba, across the bay from Tokyo. And Ami steps out of a cab. A new song, her image song, or one of her image songs, begins playing. And we cross-cut to Bob-Floy's back room, where the Sailor Scouts are hiding from Nipasu. They're huddling for warmth as Nipasu fills the air with cold and snow. At the terminal, Mamoru and Chiba arrive to say goodbye to Ami. They give Ami the going-away gift, and Chibi says, wow, you got some great friends. They didn't even come to show you off. And Ami seems taken aback by this, but she says, well, I told them not to come. And Chibi seems more upset at this than Ami does, saying, they said they were going to come, they lied. And Ami opens her gift, and she sees that it's her transformation wand and watch, and a note saying, "Wherever you go, we'll be with you."
Yeah.
Ami looks at her gift and tells Chibi, "You were right. I'm only thinking about myself." Is that what she said? Is that what she was saying?
No, I think Ami being Ami took a positive spin.
You hear what you want
to
to hear, yes.
Yeah.
Ami says, "Mamoru, fire up the Ferrari."
Yeah.
Back at Bob-Floy, things look bad. The girls are freezing. It's a real bad situation.
I know.
We cut to Mamoru's car, and Ami is just sitting there. We cut back to Bob's, freezing. Back to the car.
I know.
At a stoplight.
I know.
Back to Bob's.
We're shifting gears.
Cut to Ami. She's running, so he didn't drop her off at Bob-Floy's. And she transforms at some point into Sailor Mercury. She arrives in the back room, doesn't say anything, immediately fires off a new attack, Shine Aqua Illusion.
Yes.
And that's all we know about that, but it makes the droid go, "Ah!"
Yes.
1 MPH later, the fight is over. Nipasu is gone, the ice melts, the cats and bystanders are free. Mercury says, "In the end, I just couldn't leave you guys." And the girls do that, pile on hands thing. We're going to win this soccer game.
Woo!
Yep.
Yeah.
Outside Bob's, Chibi asks Mamoru, "They got back together because of me, right?" And Mamoru's like, "Oh, sure. Yeah. Yep. The girls ask Ami if she's okay with her decision, and she says, "Yes, I can study hard here and be a doctor." Luna says, "That's something Usagi could never do." And nobody's even really listening to this little bratty cat. Usagi doesn't punch Luna, and that is growth. Everyone laughs hysterically, like they're just like,
I know, right?
Fiend.
Yeah. Usagi, a doctor? That's hilarious.
Well, she's got a pen for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Make me into a sexy lady doctor.
Yep. Questions?
Is this where all the split ends go? Do they have an idea about it's time for individual episodes again? I'm sure, Makoto is going to fall in love with the pizza guy or something like that. And we can just play all these other things out. But they're like, no, she's going to, the thing where, high school is over or whatever grade you're in, and you're all going to split up, and you promise that you'll be together forever, but the traveling pants and that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get the core of this, but everything around it is it's like a cone surrounded by melted ice cream. Everything else is just little. It's almost like the Rei concert episode.
Oh, okay.
Which I felt had a solid idea, which was we're going to see Rei outside of her Hakama, and she's going to be doing something. Yeah. And then it's a talent contest, but it just sort of falls apart once the villain shows up and they fight, and that's kind of it. And this is the same thing. There's these things we know Ami's not going to leave.
I know.
We know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was maybe a mistake for them to even try and push that it was. But the girls literally just go, "Well, we can't do anything for her. I guess we'll just send her stuff that she doesn't even need." It's almost like a reminder, you are a superhero. Where are you going? I know they didn't mean it like that.
No, I don't think they did at all.
But it seems, I could get that impression if I just turn the sound off. And then the girls aren't even really thinking about her because they're being murdered by a robot. And then she's like, "I'm back. I gave up my dreams."
Well, it's not that they're
and
not...
then everybody laughs insanely, almost to cover the incredibly important fork in the path life decision that Ami just made. I think
it's a weird way to end it.
It underserves Ami a lot, this episode, I think. Plus, I didn't... What are the emotions that are happening when she's at the airport? I didn't really get it. Because first of all, Chibi, we know that Chibi... I guess we can assume that she doesn't know these girls. And so she doesn't...
not really well.
And she doesn't... Thanks for confirming that she doesn't know them.
Well, I don't know.
She doesn't trust them. But she also has a chip on her shoulder. And a 45 in her vest.
Yes.
And so her assumption is it's like a cynical person. My cynicism has been confirmed. Those idiots didn't even show up. They're selfish. So I get that part. But then Ami sees, Ami's the whole time she's stiff upper lip. She sees the thing and she's sort of no, it couldn't be. And I don't know what that means. And she looks at Mamoru, and he's like, he gives her like a nod, like,
I think how I interpret it is that she sees these items that they use to transform. They're not there. And then it clicks in her head why they're not there. They're fighting somebody. And she's like, no, it couldn't be. And then Mamoru is like, yep.
But he's not like, yeah, they need you.
No.
He's like, He gives her like the most satisfied, like, yep, kind of like nod.
Well, I think he's saying, yes, they are fighting. Not like,
but why
yes,
not be
they
like,
need you.
This way.
Because
the car's running. Let's go.
I think it needs to be her decision. I think it's important.
Plus, he doesn't know the situation that they're in. Unclear. It's unclear.
It is unclear.
And it will be reflected in the rating. And I guess I can stretch my mind to make it like the last thing that she says, where she's like, yes, that's right, I'm being selfish. Even though Chibi is trying to ingratiate herself with Ami by saying those guys are selfish, but Ami is, immediately applying that to herself. And she's like, I'm the one that's being selfish. But she doesn't grab Chibi by her little arms and go,
no.
Listen, you gotta cherish it. Don't ever let it go. No, she's just like, no, I'm being selfish. We gotta go.
Right.
Because these girls are gonna be girlsicles.
Well, but you have to keep in mind, too, that Chibiusa does not know that they're superheroes.
How is that even possible at this point? So what does Mamoru do? Like, okay, all right. You just added a new layer of doesn't work to this whole script.
Did I?
Because they drive her at full speed back to the ice cream shop, and Chibiusa's probably like, woo, chocolate mint chip. Here we go. And then what does he do? Like, go around the cul-de-sac while she transforms and runs into the building?
Maybe he's looking for a place to park or something. I don't know.
And by the time he's parked, they walk out.
Yeah, I know.
Transformed back into their street clothes with like robot dust all over them.
Right.
And they're like, whoo, whoa, why? I guess they're closed. Under new management, Bob-Floy's.
Yeah, I don't know.
Their machine is broken.
Yeah, right.
Backtracking is back for an all-new season. Hi, I'm Caliban.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
And we'd like to introduce you to Backtracking, the podcast that explores the real-world inspirations behind your favorite episodes of Star Trek.
From historical events to classical literature to blockbuster films, we go where no pod has gone before to seek out the origins of classic Trek tales.
Did you know, Gooey, that the TNG episode Too Short a Season was an allegory for the Iran-Contra affair?
Yeah, only sweatier. Did you know that the Enterprise episode Regeneration was an homage to the John Carpenter film The Thing?
Archer and T'Pol freezing to death over a bottle of whiskey would have been a controversial ending.
As a dog lover, Archer would not like The Thing, I'm guessing.
Oh my god, movie night is canceled. Join us every other Thursday for a journey back to the beginnings of the Trek universe.
Backtracking is available wherever you get your podcasts.
No, Porthos!
For Kyoro Koro Muro, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, today we are going to be talking about the tradition of kaiden and yuki-onna in Japan. So the droid from today's episode, Nipasu, her design was modeled after a yuki-onna, which translates as snow woman. And a yuki-onna is a spirit or yokai in Japanese folklore that is frequently depicted in Japanese visual art, films, anime, and literature. But we'll get more on that in just a moment. Ooh. So kaiden, which is sometimes transliterated as Kwad instead of Kaidan.
Like a Quiden?
Yeah, it apparently is how it was maybe
in the Chinese.
In like archaic like language is where it came from, but it doesn't really look Japanese. Like if I look at that word KW, I'm like, what is that? So anyways, it's a Japanese term that consists of two kanji. Kai means strange, mysterious, rare, or bewitching, bewitching apparition. and dan, which means talk or recited narrative.
Okay.
In its widest sense, kaiden refers to any ghost or horror story, but the term sounds kind of old-fashioned and conveys the aura of the Edo period Japanese folktales. The word
like a gaiden. Gaiden is like Ninja Gaiden.
I mean, they sound very similar.
Gaiden is like a story or a saga, right?
Yeah, I think that they're probably. I mean, I didn't come across Gaiden in my research.
So
but,
here's an idea.
Huh?
Ninja Quaiden.
Quaiden. Sure.
See if we can trademark that real fast.
Yeah, there you go. But the word is not really broadly utilized in Japanese today. Japanese horror films and books such as Ju-on and Ringu are more typically described as hora or horror, or the standard Japanese kawaii hanashi or scary story.
Kawaii?
Kawaii.
Oh, kawaii.
So here's a language lesson. Kawaii means scary. Kawaii means cute. Don't get them mixed up.
Hot or not. Oh boy, you want to talk manga? We can talk Japanese horror manga. It doesn't. Maybe on a Patreon show or something like that. Guys like Junji Ito and
yeah.
I've been getting into that recently.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe you'll find.
It's the only
this
thing that really
interesting.
scares me.
Really?
Yeah, scary movies don't scare me. I know too much about how movies are made, but like.
You're like, you know what to expect.
Scary mangas. It's real spooky. It's a spookaroo. Maybe for Halloween.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah. The term kaiden first began to be utilized during the Edo period, which was 1603 to 1868, when a parlor game called Hyakumongatari Kaiden Kai, which translates as a gathering of 100 supernatural tales, became popular. So, I am going to...
It's like the 1001 Nights?
No.
Okay.
Not, I mean, maybe in some ways.
But like not, 99 bottles of beer on the wall?
But not exactly. Anyways, Wikipedia has a really great description of how it was played, so I'm going to read that. So it was...
We're going to need 98 people.
No. The game was played as night fell upon the region using 3 separate rooms. In preparation, participants would light 100 andan, which were they're these paper bamboo lanterns, in the third room, and position a single mirror on the surface of a small table. When the sky was at its darkest, guests gathered in the first of the 3 rooms, taking turns orating tales of ghoulish encounters and reciting folkloric tales passed on by villagers who claimed to have experienced supernatural encounters. These tales soon became known as kaiden. Upon the end of each kaiden, the storyteller would enter the third room and extinguish one andan, so one paper lantern, look in the mirror, and make their way back to the first room. With each passing tale, the room slowly grew darker and darker as the participants reached the 100th tale, creating a safe haven for the evocation of spirits. However, as the game reached the 99th tale, many participants would stop, fearful of invoking the spirits they had been summoning.
Japanese people are such nerds. Learned that they invented werewolf hundreds of years ago. These party games. Or you call it werewolf or mafia?
What do you mean?
You're a theater kid.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you ever?
I think it was mafia.
Okay. I think we called it werewolf. But anyway.
Okay. Where it was like one person was doing the killing or what have you.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. It was mafia. Anyways.
And then the internet.
I know, right? Fast forward.
The kids today will never know
the
erotic sprawl of a twister board.
I know, right? Whatever. I like played outdoors and did make believe outdoors for like hours and hours.
And then the cops found you.
Yeah, no. The specific origins of Hyakumonogatari Kaidenkai are unknown. However, it is thought that it was first played amidst the samurai class as a test of courage.
People who could afford 100 lamps.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a thing, isn't it? The game soon became popular with the working class peasants and town people. Maybe they pulled their lamps together. I don't know.
Okay, this is just a short version.
Yeah, right?
You got 8.
This game was huge. I cannot stress enough how incredibly popular this game became over a relatively short period of time. With an intensified interest in telling newer and innovative kaiden, people began searching the countryside for tales of the bizarre, many of which integrated a mixture of ghostly revenge and components of karma in Buddhism. The immense popularity of this game, as well as having newly acquired the printing press, created an explosion of the publication of kaiden-themed books that gathered strange stories from all over Japan and China. In 1677, the first kaiden shu was published. Shokoku Hyakumonogatari, or 100 Tales of Many Countries, garnered popularity for being a collection of tales from people living in several countries and who all claimed their tale was true.
101 spooky tales for Halloween.
It seems that way, doesn't it? But I want to emphasize that although the word kaiden was not popularly utilized until the Edo period, these tales most likely existed in some form previously to that and were continued to being passed down.
How creative are people?
Well, right. It's just like this is when it became popular to recite them and know them and collect them, and they were given a name.
It's probably a lot easier to be scared when, you could literally get eaten by a wolf in the wilderness. Or you didn't have those those lights that come on above your garage automatically when you're walking through the driveway.
Right.
I know. Like if we played this game now, it'd be like, and the doctor asked him if he wanted a flu shot, and he said no. My phone got down to 1%.
I know.
And I texted for like an hour still.
Right, exactly.
Unicorn latte.
Initially based on instructional Buddhist tales, kaiden frequently include aspects of karma and chiefly vengeful ghosts who attempt to punish misdeeds. Japanese vengeful ghosts known as onryo are way more powerful beings after their deaths than they were in life, and are frequently people who were particularly defenseless in life, such as women and servants. This vengeance is typically pointedly directed towards the tormentor, but can sometimes be a general abhorrence towards all living humans.
It's just like tripping people in the street.
Yeah, right. I just generally don't like humans.
Yeah, not a fan of humans.
No. It should be noted that many kaiden are not meant to be scary. The tales can just as easily be bizarre, funny, or a retelling of a strange thing that happened. That strange thing that happened that one time. The wind came by and it flew off my hat, landed on a snowman. That was weird. I did want to briefly mention Yokai as well, as that is going to get back to the Yuki Onna, as the Yuki Onna is a yokai. So we've talked about yokai before. It basically translates to either ghost, phantom, or strange apparition. But there are other terms that can be used for yokai, and yokai are also referred to as Ayakashi, like the Ayakashi sisters from the Black Moon Clan.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What if you have a robot yokai? A rokai?
Yeah, I don't know if there are robot yokai. Maybe like...
Well, there's one in this episode.
Well, Yeah, that's true. But I think that's a modern thing for sure.
Well, I mean, droids are droids.
Yeah.
I just want to see at some point, like Luna do the face thing to one of these guys, and then it rips off the skin. Dun 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 dun.
I would like that too. Let's get some more Terminator. Well, actually, there's been RoboCop
Usagi,
references.
it doesn't feel fear, pain, or remorse. It absolutely will not stop until you are dead.
Right, exactly.
Or you give him the silver crystal.
Yes. The characteristics of yokai range diversely from malvoyant to mischievous entities believed to cause misfortune and harm to those who are considered to bring good fortune and for those who encounter them. So again, kind of like the Kaiden, they're not necessarily evil or scary. Japanese folklorists and historians explain yokai as personifications of, quote, supernatural or unaccountable phenomena to their informants. To basically sum it up, basically according to Japanese ideas of animism, or kind of basically ideas that come from Shintoism, that everything natural has a spirit in it, right? So all of these spirits have emotions and that sort of thing, and like, well, and
Studio Ghibli.
Well, yeah.
Pixar. What if feelings had feelings?
Yeah, I know.
Studio Ghibli. All of these trees have emotions.
Yeah, and that's Well, yeah, you can look at yes. Look at Shintoism, and there you go. So Yuki Onna has a lot of different other names that are basically is the same thing. She may also go as such a name as Yuki Hoe, Snow Daughter, Yuki Onna Go, Snow Girl. There are a lot of different one called Yuki Naba, Snow Hag. Various variations on that. A related yokai is the Surara Onna, or Icicle Woman, whose tales are very similar, except they only appear when a man looks longingly at an icicle. I'm not even... Yes. So...
At the end of the first act of a Japanese horror movie, here's an icicle. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you.
Yes. Like, apparently, oh man, that icicle, so beautiful.
This is like one
I
of
wish
those...
I had love. Knock, knock, knock.
This is one of those out of focus monitors in the cabin in the woods, where they're kind of these different like horror movies that are going on. They're not really worried about, the icicle lady. That's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry
she
about
gets
it.
Him every time.
Yeah. Yuki Onna originates from folklores of olden times in the Muromachi period, which was 1336 to 1573. In a book by the poet Sogi, there is a statement of how he saw a Yuki Onna when he was staying in Echigo province, now Niigata prefecture, indicating that the legends already existed.
Okay.
There are a lot of variations on the Yuki Onna. There's not like, this is the most prevalent tale. So I will do my best to kind of give a decent summary of her many variations.
Sure.
In one commonly found tale, a gorgeous woman visits a man and freely decides that she wants to become his wife. In all variations, this woman never wanted to take a bath. In some variations, they were married for years. I'm not sure how this all worked. She also had not aged. One night, upon her husband's insistence, she went into the bath, and when her husband returned, she was nowhere to be seen.
Oh, no.
All that remained were small fractured icicles floating in the
No,
bath.
she melted!
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, put out the lantern. Put out the lantern.
I know. In another tale, a Yuki Onna would be hugging a child, a Yuki no Ko, or snow child, during the night of the blizzard and would ask passersby to hug the child. When a person hugs a child, the Yukinko would become more and more substantial until one would become covered with snow and freeze to death. If one refuses to hug the child, one would be thrown down into the snowy valley.
Ooh.
This is apparently one of the Yuki Onna's favorite things to do, as a lot of tales end with you would get thrown down into a snowy valley.
You're thrown in a valley.
Yeah. Yep. And enough of you.
You fart in an elevator, thrown in a valley.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see modernized versions of
That's
Yuki Onna
like
tales.
a out of the '90s Outer Limits reboot
Yeah.
story. You know, that the cold child is like, "Oh, hug me! Oh, sure, honey!" And then like
Yes!
you freeze.
Well, and there's another variation. There was a was it like a warrior or a soldier, Bushi, who came upon Yuki Onna and the small child and was asked to hug the child, and he must have known the legend or what have you, and this is as the tale goes, put a knife in his mouth, bit down on it, hugged the child, put the knife above the child's head, was able to complete the hug and not be weighed down somehow because of the knife. And the Yuki Onna was overjoyed and like he survived, and she like bequeathed him treasure because he hugged the child. This child just needs love.
I can't believe it. You know, you should, by all rights, you should go in the valley, but here's some treasure instead.
I know.
Well, I can't even draw what you just described, but it worked. He read the monster manual. That's
Yeah.
how, you never want your players to do that.
Right.
Why is it a woman? Do you know what I mean? I feel like probably across the world there's a lot of like, it's a random spirit. Let's say it's a woman because, boy, I'm getting it at home. But like, is there something about? Is it just the fact that like the idea of a lady's hair and clothes blowing sinisterly in the wind looks good in a Ringu Japanese movie type way?
Well, I mean,
It just seems like it's always like and in the snow there was a lady, but
Well,
she
like
was
we
no
talked about-
ordinary lady.
right in a lot of these tales, it's people who didn't have a lot of power in life, and they are often women.
Why not Ice Dude?
I don't know,
Like
because maybe
the
it's
Norse-
creepier if a woman
The Norse are
somehow
like,
overpowers.
like
and
Ice Dude, like giants,
Yeah.
icy giants would come.
I know,
And are there girl giants? Who cares? It's icy giants. What do you want?
right?
But the Japanese are like, no, it was a lady. Stop
Right.
making eyes at that icicle. Stop. An icy lady.
I mean, she's like, so Yuki Onna is like described as being, very ephemeral, right? And she's,
She's not like the other girls.
well, so she's usually described in almost all of the tales as being, having eerily, almost like bone white, like skin. So she like blends in with the snow.
It's that Oshioko.
Yeah, Oshiroi. Yeah,
Oshiroi.
yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay.
And she's usually tall, always beautiful.
See, there's an element of sexism
I think there is.
Who's writing these stories?
Yeah, right. And she a lot of the times has long, pitch black hair. Although in some of the early stories, she had long white hair.
Whoa.
So it went with the snow. She's often depicted wearing a white kimono, although sometimes she's depicted as being naked.
Whoa.
And she usually is depicted as floating, like her feet do not touch the ground. And it's actually a really typical thing with a lot of Japanese ghosts. You know they're ghosts because you can't see their feet. So and they often float.
You see that in anime, I feel like, a lot. Like
And that's
when you
probably what
see
that is.
A ghost, or if they go to the afterlife, the character's like a full torso, apparition,
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters.
Right.
But then their like legs taper off into a little Casper
Sure.
ghosty sheet thing.
Right.
Like the bottom of a sheet.
Well, that's like how you're supposed to be able to
The Japanese
tell.
invented that before we even had sheets.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like their like telltale. Oh, this is a ghost. Like, where, like in the West, we have like, this is a person in a sheet.
Oh,
Ooh, I don't know why we thought that was scary.
Casey
but
Affleck's here.
yeah, I know. Well, she can if she gets scared or threatened, she can turn into snow or like mist.
And then you can just shovel her.
Yeah, right.
Into a bucket.
Yeah, right.
Joke's on you in the valley.
There's another variation where supposedly Yuki Onna, like, they don't really know what her origin is. Like, you know, she is the snow. She's the spirit of the snow. She's a lady who fell down in the snow and died, or she perished in the snow. But there's another variation on that she is actually a princess from the moon who was bored with life on the moon, came down to Earth, and then couldn't get back home, and then somehow turned into the Yuki Onna.
Well, okay, when they get bored, do they just put like she's a lady from the moon?
I think that's in a lot of stuff.
Remember the weird woman of Wikiwachi or whatever, where they found the thing and it's like, oh, she had a box in her hands, but they wouldn't let us see what it was.
She's from the moon.
Yeah, it's just they try to stick aliens into everything.
Well, the folktale, the bamboo cutter is about a young child who grows from a stalk of bamboo, and it turns out she's a princess from the moon.
Momotaro from the moon.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's from the moon.
Everybody's from the moon.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon from the moon.
From the moon.
I think we can rest our case.
Pokemon from the moon. Beat Takeshi from the moon.
Yes. I did want to mention talk briefly about the word sayonara. It is a word that I think a lot of non-Japanese speakers know, and we are all told that it means goodbye. Mm-hmm. It really is closer to farewell than goodbye, and is typically only used when you know you are not going to see the other person for a really long time, or if it's the last time you will see them. So when you hear sayonara in an anime, J-drama, etc., there's usually some melancholy associated with that, and also the word is just not frequently used in Japan. I do not know if you would even say it if you are saying goodbye to your relatives that are visiting. It might come off as rude.
No, you'd say sarabara.
Yeah, right. Get a really weird look.
So I take it the Sound of Music isn't popular in Japan.
What? Why do you say? Oh, because of this. Did they say sayonara in that song?
They
No.
don't.
Okay.
They say so long.
Farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen,
Great.
goodbye.
Great. Yes. Okay. I see what you did there. I think it's fine, but so what do you say instead? Probably the most common that you say to friends is jane or matane or ja matane. They're all very similar meanings. Jane translates to see you. Matane means like again or once more. And ne softens the phrase and makes it sound more friendly, more colloquial.
Okay.
When you leave your home to say goodbye to your family or roommates, you say itakimasu, which means I'll go and come back, or I'll be back. You hear this a lot in anime, all sorts of Japanese things. And then when someone says this to you, the correct response is itarashai, which means go and come back safely or be safe. So those are some of the most common things. Of course, there are other phrases or different things you say when you're leaving work. Like a lot of things in Japan, it kind of depends on like the situation and the people that you're with.
Yeah,
So,
there wouldn't just be one thing.
Right. We don't really just say one thing.
And German people don't even really say Auf Wiedersehen. You say
Right.
Tschüss.
Tschüss. What does that mean?
It means bye, basically.
Okay. Right. So is a Wiedersehen kind of like farewell or?
Wiedersehen means see you again. It means until I see you again.
Okay. Right. That sounds more formal when you put it that way.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like, it's one of those things, like, the more you learn about a language, the more you learn. Of course, it's nuanced. I mean, that just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So.
And Ami could have found out, but now she never will.
No. Ichidakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Chibiusa gets excited when she sees the new ice cream store, Bob-Floy. Especially when she sees that they have chocolate mint ice cream.
Now here's where a child is going to learn disappointment, which is if she likes chocolate mint, what is that an option for soft serve? Like the mint gets stuck in the thing. You can't really do that.
That's what
you
I don't
can have the
understand.
flavors, but you're not going to have the experience of having pieces of chocolate or pieces of mint in your chocolate mint ice cream.
That's what I don't understand, because I was thinking about that too. And then when they show like the scoops later that the couple have, like it's not a swirl. It doesn't look like soft serve.
I don't think the people that made this don't know what soft serve is.
But if you look at the Bob-Floy sign, it's soft serve.
Yeah.
So anyways.
What's Bob-Floy trying to pull on us?
Yeah, exactly. So ice cream in Japanese is aisukrimu.
It's creative.
Yeah. Soft serve ice cream is called softokrimu in Japanese.
Okay.
So, yep.
It's where you tell me about how Mr. Ice Cream came to the Eastern Islands and
No, see, I was trying to look into this, and apparently milk, like ice cream that was like milk based.
limited amount of cows.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
It is weird. It's weird to take the food for an animal's baby,
yeah,
and then shake it up with ice and salt and then different flavors. Like that's not something that everybody would. I wouldn't feel bad that you guys didn't think of that.
Well, I mean,
you like it now,
right?
Everybody likes it because it's amazing, but
right.
It is kind of weird.
Well, I guess a lot of milk-based ice cream originated in China during the Tang period.
All right, well then you missed out on that one.
And it supposedly that's where it started, and then it's spread through Europe.
They invented everything. They had so much time to.
That's crazy to me. But China is huge. And basically Japan's a love of ice cream goes back to the 20th century when it was thought of as a luxury.
Whoa.
It was not necessarily inexpensive at first.
You know, all these mogis walking around eating ice cream. Moga?
Moga? Oh, right. Yeah,
women.
yes, Moga. These modern women and their ice cream. What is going on? And of course, so some traditional Japanese flavors besides matcha, which we know, right, is sweet potato, cherry blossom, brown tea. They also have non-traditional flavors.
Wait, those were the traditional flavors?
Yes. Yeah. Any guesses at what some of the... Think of something that you wouldn't necessarily make ice cream flavor out of.
Broken glass.
Well, no. But seaweed.
Okay.
Mayonnaise. Natto, which is really gross to me, which is fermented beans.
But it's in ice cream, right?
Yeah.
Maybe cutting it with the sugar and the cream would do a little something.
I maybe if you like natto, then you're gonna love natto ice cream.
You are a monster.
Yeah.
Into the valley with you.
So Bob-Floy, what the heck is this?
I don't know.
You can't really find much of anything about it.
No, there is nothing on the internet.
So I want to give credit where credit is due. According to Tuxedo Unmasked, Bob-Floy may be a reference to an ice cream bar known as Bob, that was distributed by the Japanese company Kanebo starting in 1979. However, I could not find out that much information about Bob. What about Bob? And I do not think that it is currently produced. So I have I have no idea what
This feels
what
like
kind
a very specific inside joke. And not even, this show isn't like produced in, I guess it's produced in Tokyo, but like not specifically in Azubujuban. So it could be like a very, like some guy for a summer ran an ice cream place, you know,
Sure.
In that area. Or it could be, you know, another part of Tokyo, wherever the animation studio was.
Right.
Because they just have to put something. Cafe Elk.
I
Something's got to go on the
I
thing.
know.
So they just did that.
Yeah, I know.
Inside jokes.
Absolutely no idea what the ploy is. The only thing I could find is ploy can be like apparently a shortening or a nickname of the name Florence.
Yeah.
Which makes less sense because you're Bob Florence. I don't know.
It does. And if it's if you say it in Japanese, you know, it's Bob-Floy.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of Babu Frick. Hey! So I don't know that, but that's not. No, I can't.
It reminds me of Bobby Flay, but
Bob-Floy.
Yes.
Love his recipes. And his barbecue ice cream.
But I'm pretty sure this was out before he was well known in the States. Yeah. So I don't think that's what that is either.
Do you want to talk about her image song?
Yes.
It's called Sharing the Same Tears.
Yes.
And I don't know if we'll hear this again. Because it's so specific for the moment. Like some of the lyrics are sharing the same tears together, never go away. Forever, please, can we stay? Whatever happens now, whatever cuts the ties, if we have each other, it's going to be all right. Sharing the same tears forever.
It's such a sad,
it's real specific.
Song. It's very specific.
I don't want like 50 episodes later when like, you know, she shine aqua illusion. It's like, oh, we're going to cry some tears. It's like, no, it's not like a triumphant song.
Yeah, I know it's not. And the name in Japanese is Onaji Namida o Wakiate.
Ooh, Wakiate.
Okay, I'm trying to calm myself down and say it. And her image song in the dub is called Only a Memory Away, and we will talk about that more in Sabu or Dabu.
Okay.
But without further ado, we are going to get to villain gauge. We rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The droid in this episode is Nipasu. Berthier calls her Nipas-chan, which is interesting as chan is always meant to be an endearing suffix.
Yes.
So she's like, oh, Nipas-chan, did you refreeze the people in the back? Because if you don't, I'm going to have to hurt you.
Right, yeah, right.
Nipas-chan.
Yeah.
Anyways, her name meaning, Nipasu, is a reference to Nephas, which is a Greek word for snowstorm. Nepha is a Greek word for snow. So, yeah. Mount Nepha is a hill which is 760 meters, standing almost precisely in the center of White Island in the Ross Archipelago in Antarctica. It was given that name by the New Zealand Geographical Survey Antarctic Expedition that was there in 1958 to 1959 because the hill is surrounded by snow and ice.
Okay.
So, yeah. Interesting, you know, based on a yokai, but the name is Greek.
Well, I mean, we've had all kinds of things.
We have, for sure.
For names, none of which come to mind right now.
Okay. As far as I can tell, Nipasu's hairstyle and clothes are inspired by looks from ancient China. And it's entirely possible that these looks came over to Japan at some point as well. As we know, a lot of things came over from China to Japan. She has aqua hair that is long in front, and the updo has 2 hair loops and bangs. Nipasu's hairstyle looks like it was inspired by the style known as either Shuanghuan Ji or double hooped Ji during the Wei Jin and Northern Southern dynasties, and which later developed into the Shuanghuan Wang Jian Ji or double hooped immortal seeking Ji during the Tang Song dynasties.
Got it.
Right. I know.
This is Sailor Noob.
I know.
Japan.
I know. But so, anyways, basically these styles were worn by ladies of the court and women who were unmarried. Her outfit also looks like it's inspired by traditional Chinese clothing. Very loose-fitting top that is a light blue over her torso and has white around her V-neck collar, long white large sleeves. The long and loose skirt is light purple with dark blue trim and sash. And if you notice, just like a Yuki Onna, you cannot see her feet, and she just doesn't just float. She flies and has ice powers. I also want to mention that she has red makeup around her eyes, which is something that we mentioned in our episode last week that was popular during the Nara period in Japan.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yes. I really like her overall design, and that she was modeled after a Yuki Onna. I feel bad about how mean Berthier is to her. She freezes a whole bunch of people, Artemis and Luna, and her ice breath makes the room colder than the North Pole. So I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 dark stars.
Okay. I have to go 3.
Okay.
We've had a hot run of good stuff, and that makes things that aren't as good seem worse. So I'm trying to temper this. But I'll definitely give her a 3, mainly because we've talked about the sliding scale between effectiveness and on-screen time. And apparently she is incredibly effective.
Right.
Nobody can do anything against her super breath, but nobody tries to do anything against her super breath. You think maybe they were setting me up? They're like, okay, guys, this is the plan. She's got to feel like we actually need her. So we're just going to sit here, and then she'll show up. She'll go, Mercury, she'll do everything she always does. And then she'll save us.
The cats are in on it, too. They're like, okay, we're going to get frozen
with
again.
her shine aqua illusion, which is neither shine nor aqua nor illusion discuss.
I know.
And, but anyway, and so, I liked her, like you said, I liked her design for all those reasons. But I was really interested in her day job as a lady that runs an ice cream place and has employees. We see another person that is not connected to them. So do they just show up and like, we've got an evil manager now. Okay, I don't know.
Was this like the one person
She's making a beeping sound?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what's her life like?
Yeah, right.
So, I don't know. Yeah, and then, like I said, I always like a touch of humanity in my Yoma or my droids in this case.
Yes.
And like the fact that she's like, well, I'm gonna get fired.
I
like,
know,
she's
right?
Like, got a real crappy boss. So yeah, I'll give her a 3.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
We'll never see her again, though. So
no,
doesn't matter.
She crumbles. For Sabu or Dubu, where we talk about the most interesting differences between the sub or the dub. In the dub, the droid Nipasu's name was changed to Frosty.
Yeah.
Keep it Frosty, Frosty.
A girl's not Frosty, right? Or like maybe it's with an I. Okay, never mind.
It was not with an I, but okay.
I mean, there's only one person in the world who's Frosty, and that's
Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah, and any soldier who's told to stay frosty.
Oh.
But yeah, Frosty the Snowman, and so Frostina,
better
fixed it for you.
Yeah,
like we always do.
That's
Deke.
more creative.
That's a sloppy Deke.
I know. Speaking of a sloppy Deke,
I'm listening.
Yes. In the dub, for the scenes where we see Amy and Darian's car, Deke added Amy wearing a seatbelt.
Oh, well, that's probably a good idea.
I will get to it, but in episode 82, during a flashback.
Wait, we're not at episode 82.
No, but there is a flashback to this scene.
So you are. Oh, okay.
I'm not spoiling anything.
Well, you're spoiling that in the flashback to this scene.
In the Deke dub.
Yeah.
The seatbelt does not appear.
Okay, so all right. So you always bring these things up. And the source that you get them from seems to take great glee in sticking it to Deke and the dub.
Mm.
Is that, I remember, we started this on the eve of a pandemic with a quarantine, so I have never met another Sailor Moon fan. Are Sailor Moon fans like generally angry about the dub? It seems like there's real pain behind some of the trivia that this person points out.
Well, this is a complicated. I don't even know how to answer this. Yes and no. People have various opinions about the different versions of the dubs too.
Sure.
And, like, well, I liked this voice actor, but I didn't like this one. And, why did they make this decision? I mean, people get, especially, this is maybe not something to get super upset about, but it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, you guys, you can't be consistent.
And they made it, they took out the sword going into Endymion here, but then later on, when his head gets cut off, they showed that in a flashback. That was the recap of the previous episode.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, that's what their job. That's what they're trying to do.
I feel like half the things that you bring up are that for some.
Okay. All right. Anyways.
All right. Have some ice cream. Calm down.
The dub changed the lines so it seemed like Bertie or Bertier was a lot nicer to Frosty or Nipasu, but in the original she was pretty mean, all while calling her Nipas-chan, which it can be kind of terrifying.
That's an important character beat.
Right?
Yeah.
Like having her be like really nice to her instead. And then Ami's image song, like we said, is called Only a Memory Away. And the weird thing about this is the song version that is in the anime is very different from what they put on the album of all the anime songs. I don't know why.
Like a different arrangement or?
Yes, like they changed lyrics. There's a different chorus, different melody. The album version is way more optimistic and hopeful, and it added a Spanish guitar, which I have to say the album version, which
like
is
Malinguena or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not as fancy as that, but it was like playing underneath everything. And I have to say, I like the album version way better. But
did you know that the album cut of Maiden's Policy,
yes,
has like another
verse,
another minute, and then it's another reprise. It has a guitar solo in the middle that's like a real wheedly beedly face melter. And then it comes back for a reprise, and then it has I forgot my music section terms, but it's got a coda, I guess.
Yeah.
Where with another like half solo as it finishes off.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's great.
You're coming around on Maiden's Policy.
I said that before.
I know. You totally are, though.
Clearly I've been listening to it on YouTube.
I know. So some of the lyrics from Only a Memory Away. Will you miss me when I'm gone? Will you remember all the good times that we had?
I paid a lot to get into German medical school.
Yeah. And then
I want my money back.
Basically, the part that goes that repeats is like, I will be only a memory away. And the
everything's
album,
only a memory away. It doesn't mean anything.
I know. The album version, I think, kind of illustrates like her struggle more, and it's like, I hear the voice of my destiny call, and I know that I must go find my way. The hardest part will be leaving you all, and I'll miss you much more than words can say. I'll be only a memory away.
What lunchtime did somebody spit that out over?
Oh, I still think it's better than what we got in the anime, but in the dub. But anyways. So now we're at where we rate the episode. I really like that we get to see a little bit of a different side of Ami in this episode, especially her enjoying ice cream with Chibiusa and how quickly she rushes into action to help her friends. Also, I feel like this is the first time we've really seen that she's indecisive. I feel like we haven't necessarily seen that before. You disagree?
I think that we see quite a bit that it's possible to create a good person, you think that you just love and hug a kid all the time, and they grow up knowing the right thing to do and the right way to go, and then sometimes you have a kid where you're at the hospital And apparently that might have led to the dissolution of your thing with Dad, who's not around. And then Ami has to go to cram school until 7 or 8 every night. And yet you're still a good person because you're doing all these things and you're doing the right thing, but you're built out of all these kind of weird parts. Do you know what I mean? And I think often we see her, sometimes it's funny when she's like, oh, and then we can all study some more. And she's like, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to talk. And I think we've seen her before make decisions based on kind of weird criteria. It's a decision that helps the group or, is a good or a nice or the right decision. But it's like, because studying is the thing to do, or it's like, that way I can have time to get to cram school.
Oh, right. Like she was like, I should play Snow White because she doesn't have that many lines.
And then I can study more. And it's like, what a little short story of deprivation that is. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
So, hey,
that's a good point.
It works for some. Yeah. And none of the rest of these kids are going to become a doctor, but that's the tragedy of Ami Mizuno, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But this is your thing, so go.
I also like that Usagi is really trying her absolute best to be a supportive friend, even though it's really hard for her. But I totally get that part at the end where it's like, now we're going to rush to our scene already in progress, and it's like in the car, and we're freezing and in the car, and it's like it took forever for her to get there.
Want to come up with, because there's 4 girls.
Yeah,
all 4 of them can be. I know they have to guess. They have to see Ami come in, but can't they just see it through their frozen eyes, looking through the clear ice that they've clearly been encased in? Because they're losing this fight.
I know.
So normally you would have them go down one by one, and then Ami would show up and save the day, and save her, and then the ice would melt just enough so that Usagi can do her attack.
Yeah.
Because she's the only person that can finish them off for whatever reason. But instead it's just, no! It's like the guy in Austin Powers who's going to get run over by the bulldozer. No! Get out of the way! No! Move! Get out of the way! No! Like, oh, wow, that's a sad end.
I know. Yeah, no, it is like that. It is. It's like, oh my gosh. So I think it kind of lost it towards the end there a little bit. So I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 roses.
Well, I'm glad you gave it 3 because I'm giving it 2.
Whoa.
Well, look, these numbers are instructive.
Yeah.
We have to tell these people who made this show 25 years ago what they need to do better. And although I appreciate them covering this emotional territory,
yes,
and I do, when you think about it, this is an episode that I don't know if they really meant to have Tuxedo Mask not show up, if that was a choice. I'm trying to think when he hasn't showed up before, when he's been in play.
That's true.
And it's an episode where Usagi doesn't mess anything up at all. Not that she has to. I hope she's on a path of growth.
Yeah.
But you're right. She's just like the perfect friend in this episode. And there are no complications. And nobody has to convince her to stop reading that comic book. And she doesn't make any yucky curry or anything like that. Like she's literally just a friend to the main character of the episode, which is Ami in a lot of ways.
Yes.
In the episode. But not enough.
Yeah.
And not enough for, I think, some of these emotional beats to pay off. That being said, the 2 and not the 3, the 2 is the emotional beats, the exploration of developing these characters a little more. Although I know that we're not going to, I talk about Spider-Man all the time. Mm-hmm. I feel like there has definitely been, she in this case she is Peter Parker and Mary Jane at the same time.
Oh, Ami
because I feel like more than once, they've been in the situation where Mary Jane has a chance to I got a modeling contract, but I got to go to Europe, and I have to be there for 2 years, because I have to do walk in the season or whatever. And then I've got some other shoots.
Sure.
And he's like, well, I mean, that's great, but you're going to be gone for 2 years.
Yeah.
What happens to our relationship? Also, who's going to patch me up when, the rhino attacks me or something like that? Right. You're my anchor. I'm Peter Parker for you.
Yeah, right.
And she's got that going on because she's a friend to all these girls. She's both their friend and their co-superhero.
Yes.
And then she's got this whole life. And I feel like there are, entire series, like the Venture Brothers, have been made off of characters who refused to go to Germany every time they were asked. And now they're 35, and bald and pot-bellied, and they have no life. And so I know that this series will never explore that, but I think it's a really big deal. It seems like, it's the right choice. She's staying with us. But it's like she's turning down something really big.
She is turning down
and
something
there's ways
really
around
big.
it.
Yeah.
But the episode doesn't...
You
never see her
it.
mom.
No.
And her mom's like, honey, I found a program that will allow you to it's really prestigious and you're going to get in. And some kind of home study program instead of some study abroad.
Right.
Because the show doesn't really care about that. At least not in this episode. And that's why it's a 2. Because I know it's a kid's show. We talk all the time about how it's a kid's show and yet it continually impresses us. I know the show can do better and I know the show cares more than this.
Yeah.
Also, 10 days? What's going on?
I don't know why.
Give me 5 minutes and I can fix all that.
I know, right?
But most episodes don't even last 10 days. So
no, I don't know why they picked that arbitrary number, which didn't really seem to pan out during the rest of the show.
So couple gems, or we're panning for gold.
Yes.
There's a few flecks in here, but there's a lot of mud.
Also really enjoyed Chibiusa with like the red eyes or I mean the
yeah, I want that to stick around.
Like that was fantastic.
The shifty eyes.
Yes. My English title is Ami's Dilemma: Desire versus Duty.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's solid. I think that explains the whole thing.
Yeah.
I have to do one still?
Yes,
okay.
You do.
Mine is cool treats, cold feats.
Nah. All right. I was thinking of
that's pretty solid.
Dairy Queen's slogan throughout all this.
Our international listeners might not know that we have a restaurant called Dairy Queen, and their slogan used to be "Hot Eats, Cool Treats," because they have hamburgers but they also have blizzards and parfaits and stuff.
It was for a really long time. I feel like it might still. I mean, I haven't seen an ad for them for like ever, but like a long time.
But it's on the other side of DQ something different.
Oh, I guess I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Do you?
I think
that slogan is another one I can remember because we're all just programmed to remember slogans, and that came after
ones.
Hot Eats, Cool Treats.
I knew that's what you meant.
They might have resurrected Hot Eats, Cool Treats.
Okay.
But in this case, it's Cool Treats, Cold Feets.
I know, which I like.
Because she's got cold feet.
Yeah. She does have cold feet. And our Yuki Onna, no feet.
No feet. Sorry. I would like to amend my geek title.
Yeah.
Cool Treats, no feet.
I like it.
That was a team effort.
Gold star. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 63. Onna wa tsuyoku utsu kushiku, rei no shin hisatsu waza in Japanese. Women must be strong and beautiful. Rei's new special technique. The English translation and the English title, Gramps in a Pickle.
Misbehaving. Gramps got a pickle in his mouth. Misbehaving. All right. I've had enough of this.
Yeah?
Well, all right. I don't want to do that. I'm like Black Bolt. I have to be careful what I say, literally, because it can destroy things at this point. And I'm starting to see the strings of the puppet show here.
Okay.
You know, start off, introduce the bad guy and the monsters. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody gets a new power. Some kind of new crisis, a change, defeat the villain, wash, rinse, repeat. And
I can't really say anything.
I see the single tear coming down your face, though. All right, well, we'll see what kind of pickle Gramps gets himself into next week.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Into the valley with you.